Angri. Ajyam Drishritu Angresha Chaturhotram. Durdarshanam Deva Yagatvaratmakam Chandam Shriya Shabdachi Bargi Romacho Ajam Drishri Tvam Drishi Chatur Hotram Rupam, form, Tava, your, Etar, this, Nanu, but, Dushkruta Atmana, of souls who are simply miscreants, Durdarshanam, very difficult to see, Deva, O Lord, that, Atvaratmakam, worshipable by performance of sacrifice. Chandamshi, the Gāyatrī mantra and others. Yasya, whose, Tvachi, touch of the skin. Barhihi, sacred grass called kuśa. Romashu, hairs on the body. Ajyam, clarified button. Drushi, in the eyes. To also Andrishu, on the four legs, Chaturpotram, four kinds of fruitive activities. Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. O Lord, your form is worshipable by performance of sacrifice, but souls who are simply miscreants are unable to see it. All the Vedic kings, Gāyatrī and others are the touch of your skin. In your bodily hairs is the kuśa grass, in your eyes is the clarified butter, and in your four legs are the four kinds of fruitive activities. Please repeat the translation. O Lord, your form is worshipable by performance of sacrifice, but souls who are simply miscreants are unable to see it. All the Vedic kings, Gāyatrī and others are in the touch of your skin. In your bodily hairs is a kuśa grass. In your eyes is the clarified butter. And in your four legs are the four kinds of fruitive activities. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. There is a class of miscreants who are known in the words of Bhagavad Gita as Vedavadi, are so-called strict followers of the Vedas. They do not believe in the incarnation of the Lord, what to speak of Lord's incarnation as a worshipable form. They describe worship of the different forms or incarnations of the Lord as anthropomorphism. In the estimation of Srimad Bhagavatam, these men are miscreants, and in Bhagavad Gita they are called not only miscreants but also fools and the lowest of mankind. And it is said that their knowledge has been plundered by illusion due to their artistic temperament. For such condemned persons, the Lord's incarnation of the gigantic hawk is invisible. The strict followers of the Vedas who despise the eternal forms of the Lord may know from Srimad Bhagavatam such incarnations are personified forms of the Lord. Lord Boar's skin, his eyes and his bodily hair, holes are all described here as different parts of the Vedas. He is therefore personified form of the Vedic hymns and specifically the Gāyatrī mantra. It doesn't say the Vedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamy Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here the sages started glorifying the Lord with their prayers. They are describing the form of the Lord. Rupam Tavayetam, this form. Nanu Dushkruta Atmana, for the souls who are miscreants, Dushkruta Atmana. Durdarshanam, it is very rare they can see. They cannot understand or they cannot perceive your form of the Lord. Deva, oh my dear Lord, here Advaratmakam, you are the personification of sacrifice. Advara Atmakam, are worshipable by performance of sacrifices. Chandamshi Yashakvachi, all the Vedic hymns, Gāyatrī, Yashakvachi, they are from your skin. Barhi Romashu, the skin and the hair from your body is the kuśa, Barhi. Ajyam Drishitu Angrishu Chaturhotu. Ajyam, the clarified butter is in your eyes. Drishitu. Angrishu Chaturhotu. And your four legs are the four kinds of fruitive activities. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So in that way they are comparing the form of the Lord with various elements. They are saying everything is from your bodily emanation. Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, Matta Sarva Prabhava. Everything, I am the source of everything, everything is created by me. So they are relating everything with the form of the Lord, bodily parts of the Lord. Like how in the universal form we see different aspects of the universe connected to different bodily parts of the Lord. Even the 14 planetary systems are different bodily parts of the Lord. So similarly, the sages here are mentioning everything is related to the sacrifice. The performer, the yajna, the clarified butter which is offered, the mantras which are chanted, and to the person whom it is offered, and the result of the sacrifice. So all these things are connected with the Lord. That's what the point is here, we understand. So in the purport Prabhupada says about Vedavadis. So what is the understanding of these Vedavadis? They do not believe in the incarnation of the Lord. What to speak of Lord's incarnation as a worshipable form? So they have a limitation. They will not be able to understand about the Lord, and they do not believe in the activities of the Lord. They describe worship of the different forms and incarnation of the Lord as anthropomorphism or zoomorphism. They say they are all imagination perspective. You are all imagining something about the Lord. But what is Lord's position? So, for that such condemned persons, the Lord incarnation as a gigantic hawk is invisible. So, all the elements which are explained in this verse are connected to the different bodily parts of the Lord. Therefore, he is personified form of the Vedic hymns, especially the Gāyatrī mantra. So, generally, we all chant this Gāyatrī mantra. Different personalities have different Gāyatrī mantra. It is like a mantra to meditate upon the form of the Lord. Dhimahi, like Bhagavatam is starting with Gāyatrī mantra, ends with Gāyatrī mantra, Dhimahi with his word. So, like I meditate upon that Supreme Lord who has so and so qualities. Like most of the outside people also they chant the Gāyatrī mantra. As soon as they see the sun in the morning, they first offer the Gāyatrī mantra. Because that mantra is offered to the Surya Narayana who is there in the sun planet. So in that way, this is a form of meditating upon the Lord. Gāyatrī mantra. So here, Prabhupada explains in another places what is this Vedavada Rathas. In Bhagavad Gita, we come across this in 2.42. What is that shloka? Yaimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avapashchita. Vedavada Ratah Partha Nanyat Astiti Vādu. These Vedavada Rathas, they propagate the flowery language of the Vedas, which confuse the people and make them get carried away towards sense gratification. And so that they can aspire for higher planetary system, which is again within the part of the material knowledge. So who are these Vedavada Rathas and what is their understanding and what is their problem in their understanding? Prabhupada says, a person who strictly follows the Vedic principles is called as Vedavadi. And there are so-called Vedantis who advertise themselves as followers of Vedanta philosophy, but who misinterpret Vedanta. The expression Vedavada Ratha is also found in Bhagavad Gita, referring to persons who are attached to the Vedas without understanding the purport of the Vedas. Like what is the essence of understanding Vedas? Vedasya sarve ahameva vedyaha. From all the Vedas, Krishna had to be known. But these people study the Vedas, but they don't come to the conclusion that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Such persons may go on talking about the Vedas or may execute austerities in their own way, but it is not possible for them to attain an exalted position like Dhruva Maharaj. So simply talking or propagating about this Veda, but without coming to the proper conclusion, they will be simply speculating about the subject and they will not get the highest destination. So further in one more place he says, the Vedavada followers of the Vedas are generally inclined to Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda system means allurements for the living entities. Oh, you want higher kind of sense gratification? You worship so and so demigod. You want beautiful wife? You worship so and so. You want relief from this disease? You worship so and so. You want the wealth? You worship so and so. You want authority? You want ruling capacity? You worship so and so. The performance of sacrifice according to Vedic injunctions in Karma Kanda system, they are very much inclined into this. Thereby, they are promoted to only higher planetary systems and they generally practice Chaturmasya system. So, in that way, these are all Chaturmasya system means one who does this perfectly Chaturmasya. It is said they go to heavenly planets and they will be able to drink Somarasa. Why are they performing Chaturmasya? To drink Somarasa. What is this Somarasa? It is a sattvic liquor. Not the Tamoguna liquor, it is a sattvic liquor. It's a beverage, it is available in heavenly planets. So, these people, Prabhupada compares them. There is one group who performs these sacrifices. Every day they lit a fire, they chant some mantras which they doesn't know what they are chanting or what is the meaning of that mantras, and simply every day they have to lit a fire and they have to chant. There is a group of people, they are known as Arya Samadhis, whom Prabhupada quotes them, who simply follow this Vedavada Ratha and who have no idea about what they are doing. So these are all. So how do we understand about the Lord? Who can understand about the Lord? Who can see the Lord? So Bhagavatam explains in certain places in the Brahma's prayers. Who can understand and who cannot understand about the Lord? He says, Ko Vyakti Bhuman Bhagavan Paratman Yogeshwarotir Bhavatas Trilokyam Kava Katam Va Kati Va Kadeti Vistarayan Kridashi Yoga Maya. So Lord Brahma prays to the Lord with 4 specific qualities. He says, O Bhuman, O Great One, O Supreme Great One. First he says. Then he says, O Bhagavan, O Supreme Lord, full of all opulences. He says, O Paramatma, O Super Soul. And he says, O Yogi Ishvara, O Master of all mystics. So, Bhavata Utihi Trilokyam. Your pastimes are happening everywhere across these 3 planetary systems. Your pastimes are happening everywhere within these 14 planetary systems, within these 3 worlds. But, Kava Katam Va Kati Va Kadeti. Who can understand when, where, how all these pastimes are happening? Nobody can estimate about your pastimes. Because Vistarayan Kridashi Yogamayam, you are employing your spiritual energy and performing these innumerable pastimes. Yogamayam, Kridasi. Like it's a playful pastimes by engaging in your Yogamaya. You are able to perform all these things. People cannot estimate about your pastimes. So no one can understand the mystery of your spiritual energy acts. Kahaveti. Nobody knows. How you accept a form, how you perform your pastimes, nobody can estimate your understanding. So Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, in some references he quotes, who can understand and who cannot understand. He gives a reference from Brahma Tarka. He says, Pashyamano apitu harim, natu veti katanchana. He says, Pashyamano apitu harim. Even if a person sees Lord Hari, Pashyamanaha, even if you see Lord Hari, Natu veti kalachana, you cannot understand him. Veti kinchit prasadena, who can understand? Veti kinchit prasadena, one who has got the mercy. Of whom? Hare ata gurus tata. If you get mercy of Hari and Guru, then you can understand Lord Krishna. Otherwise, you can never understand Krishna. Similarly, then further reference from Brahma's prayers, he says, Atapite deva padambujadvayam prasada leshan grihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanyo ek api chiran vichinman. So he says, O Deva, O my dear Lord, Atapite anugrahita. If one is favored, Lesha evahi, by a slight trace of your mercy, te padambaja dvaya prasadaha, the mercy of the lotus feet, of Lord's lotus feet, janati tattvam, he can understand about the Lord, Bhagavan Mahimna, the glories of the Supreme Personality of God. So janati tattvam Bhagavan Mahimna, he can understand only when he gets the mercy of the lotus feet of the Lord. Or else nobody can understand about this, about the Lord. But those, na chanyo ekopi, but for those who speculate about the Supreme Lord are unable to know him, na chanya ekopi. For chiram vichinvan, even if they continue to study the Vedas for many, many years, they will not be able to understand about the Lord. So, if you have to understand about the Lord, you require the mercy of the Lord. And further, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj gives reference for this also. He says, from Matara Stuti, he says, Bhaktir Yevainam Nayati. Bhakti leads Jiva to the Supreme Lord. Bhaktir Yevainam Drishyati. And it enables his soul to see the Supreme Lord. Bhaktir Yevainam Darshyati. So, Bhaktir Vasha Purushaho, the Lord is controlled by Bhakti. Bhaktir Eva Bhuyasi, the Bhakti is the most glorious act. So in that way, he says, by Bhakti only we can understand the Lord, not by any other approach. How do we get that mercy? Only by Bhakti we can get that mercy, not by any other approach. Similarly, understanding or getting this prasada of the Lord is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. In 2nd chapter, 64th shloka, and 65th shloka about this prasada, Krishna clearly specific says, Raga dvesha vimuktestu vishayan indriyasyana atmavashayar videyatma prasadam adhigacchati. Raga dvesha vimuktestu, one who is free from raga dvesha, duality of this material world, attraction and repulsion. Vishayan indriyasyana, and one who is free from the control of senses. Then Atmavashaya Videyatma, then he can become fully Atmavashaya, he can control himself. Videyatma, one who is follows the rules, regulative principles of freedom. Prasadam Adhigacchati, by the mercy of the Lord, one can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. So by practicing systematically the rules and regulations of devotional service, and one who is able to regulate his senses, control his senses, he becomes the recipient to receive the mercy of the Lord. Now once you receive the mercy, what happens? Next verse. Prasade sarva dukkana. When you receive that mercy, prasade sarva dukkana, you will become free from all the unwanted things. Sarva dukkana. Hani yashopa jayate, they will not destruct you. Hani, they do not cause any destruction upon you. Prasanna chetaso yasu, he becomes very peaceful. Prasanna chetasa. Very peaceful, calm, debonair, he will be exhibiting all the symptoms, no anxiety. Buddhihi paryavatishtate, and his intelligence becomes steady. So, how to achieve the mercy of the Lord? And once you achieve the mercy, what happens is also mentioned. So, one place Prabhupada explains in one of the purports about having the darshan of the Lord, quoting from Jiva Goswami, he says, the activities of the Supreme Lord in his various forms and incarnations are always uncommon and wonderful. That is the speciality of the Lord. It is uncommon, what we have never heard or never seen. And it will be beyond our imagination, we will have heard. And that's why it is uncommon, wonderful. It is not possible for any tiny human being to estimate the purpose and plans of such activities. So, purpose and plans we can never estimate. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami has said, unless the Lord's activities are accepted as inconceivable, they cannot be explained. So, unless you accept them as inconceivable, you cannot explain. For our understanding, it is sometimes said, Lord is situated in the heart of the thief. As well as in the heart of the householder. How Lord performs inconceivable activities. Paramatma is there in everyone's heart. He is there in the heart of the thief also. He is there in the heart of the household also. For the thief, he recommends, oh, there is an opportunity for you to go and steal in so-and-so house. And that householder's heart, Lord says, be careful, you have so much wealth, a thief might come and steal it. So here he is inspiring one to steal, and there he is saying, precaution you do, thief might come. So these instructions to different persons appear contradictory. Yet we should know the super soul has some plan, and we should not consider such activities contradictory. The best course is to surrender unto the Supreme Lord wholeheartedly, and being protected by him, remain peaceful. The best course is surrender unto the plan of the Lord and remain peaceful. Like Prabhupada gives one example. There were two farmers. One had a patch of land who wanted to grow his field. So he is saying, for the field to grow, he is saying, I want water. So he is praying to the Lord, oh my Lord, give me rain so that my crop can flourish nicely. And the next bit is considered, next bit person was a potter. So potter, he is praying to the Lord, I don't want rain, please give more sunlight so that my pots will become dried, I will be able to have better. Now the Lord, what will he do? Whether he will give sunlight or whether he will give rain. Both next to next are praying. Whom he will satisfy? Lord says, I will follow what Kala follows. If it is summer season, you will get summer. If it is winter season, rainy season, you will get rain. I do not favor somebody, I do not neglect somebody. He says, I will just leave it to Kala. So similarly, Lord, he exhibits everything, but he is detached from the result. So similarly, we should get connected to the Lord, but we should become detached from the person. Whatever happens by the will of the Lord, let it happen. We cannot control them, or we cannot hang on to the subject, and we cannot keep crying for the other person. So, in this perspective, there is one devotee, great devotee, by name Kulashekar Alvar, who had given his mature devotion service in the form of Mukunda Mala Stotra. So today we will understand about his life history, how he is an inspiration, he is an example for all devotees. So around 5200 years ago, means at the end of Dwapar Yuga and starting of Kali Yuga, there was a king by name Dhritarashtra of Sheri dynasty who was ruling in Travancore, today's Thiruvananthapuram, and all the surrounding areas. The king was a very pious and righteous man, like all his predecessors. He considered Lord Ananta Padmanabha to be the ruler of the kingdom, and he, being the servant of the Lord, is executing on the order of the master. So every day, morning and evening, he used to go to have darshan of the Lord, and he used to petition to the Lord what is happening in the state. As a Lord's representative, he was ruling, and he was communicating everything to the Lord, what is happening to the day-to-day affairs. So this practice is followed even today, like how in the Mangalarti. After Mangalarti, we announce how many books have been distributed, how many collection has happened, because Lord is the master. We are informing the master of the house what is happening. Similarly, the kings also used to object to the master, the Lord, what is happening in the state. But he did not have any children, so he was always with that sorrowful attitude. So he was praying to the Lord that he might be blessed with a saintly son, not just a son, but a devotee son he wanted. Now the Lord, all merciful Lord, became pleased with the prayers and blessed him with a son who was appeared as Kulashekara. So 3075 BC, the Kulashekara had appeared. It was a full moon day when Punarvasu Nakshatra was there. So he is a manifestation of Kaustubha jewel of the Lord. The Lord's Kaustubha jewel, which will be there on the chest of the Lord, he is a representation of Lord's Kaustubha jewel. As a dutiful father, he trained Kulashekara in warfare, governance, 4 Vedas, 6 ancillary sciences, and all the subjects that a competent king should know. So very soon Kulashekara became very good administrator, and he was a warrior and gained his father's confidence. So seeing that son has become a great personality and he is competent enough to rule the kingdom, the father handed over the kingdom to him and went away to forest to practice spirituality, to become more dedicated to the Lord. He accepted Vanaprastha and he went away to forest to practice further spiritual advancement. So being a great warrior, Kulashekara immediately subjugated all the surrounding kings, Pandyas and Cholas, and brought them under his control. Kavalan, the guardian of Kerala. Kudal Nayakam, the leader of Kudal, Madurai, which was capital of Pandyas. And Kozhikon, the ruler of Kozhiyur, Uriyur, which was the capital of Cholas. So, being a righteous king, he governed the kingdom judiciously. So, he was very dear to his subjects and who equated his ruling to Lord Ramachandra's rule. They were feeling it was like Ramaraja. So, he led the life of a king, but he was not very devoted in the earlier part of the life. So, later he started showing spirituality. It is said that Lord wanted to bring him towards his direction. One night appeared to him in his dream as Srinivasa, Tirumala Srinivasa, and attracted him towards his form. By seeing that beautiful form of the Lord, he became fascinated, he became attracted, and he became connected with the Lord. So slowly he started associating with the devotees. He started hearing from them all the Bhagavatam, then Ramayana, Mahabharata, all the Vedic perspectives. He started listening to their discourses. So he very soon became an ardent devotee of the Lord, and he started ignoring his royal duties also. And he was planning to retire to Srirangam and completely spend his life dedication in the service of Lord Ranganatha. But his dutiful ministers, they were advising and finding various means and ways how to avoid him. So like whenever he gets a mood, let me go to Srirangam, they used to bring one sannyasi and keep himself. Very good sannyasi has come from foreign state, so please take care of him. So for keeping hospitality till some time where he forgets about Srirangam, he will be made to stay in this capital. The king used to serve him very nicely. After some days again he will develop attachment, let me go to Srirangam. Again they will bring one more sannyasi and keep him in the city. So that always they were finding means and ways how to hold on Kulashekara to the kingdom. Because such a great king, they don't want to lose their king for the purpose. So being very pleased with the Kulashekara's attempt, Lord sent his commander-in-chief, Visvakshena, to initiate him into spiritual life. So Vishvakshana came him and gave him the mantropadesha and bringing him into Vaishnava perspectives. So till then he was known as Kulashekara, but after the initiation he became known as Kulashekara Alvar, the emperor of kingdom of devotion. Kulashekara Alvar, the emperor of kingdom of devotion. So he is always referred as king of the kingdom of devotion because he requested the Lord to consider him to be the Lord's Britya, Paricharika, Brityasya, Britya. Like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Gopi Bharta Padakamalayur, Dasa, Dasa, Dasanu Dasa. He is saying, I am the servant of that Supreme Lord's servant. Intact with our Vaishnava philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy. So being a great devotee, he was very indifferent to material pleasure and was always interested in discussions about various pastimes of the Lord. So the ministers regularly organized spiritual discourses like Ramayana, Mahabharata and all. And specifically he became very much fascinated by Valmiki's Ramayana. He became very much connected to Lord Ramachandra's pastimes. So whenever he used to hear Ramayana, he used to perceive that Ramachandra is acting in front of him. He used to perceive that Ramayana is happening in front of him. He was able to visualize the entire pastimes of the Lord. So there was one system, so he became so much attached to Lord Ramachandra, he had made one beautiful deity of Lord Rama and established in his palace, and whole day he was spending time with the deity only, serving him, doing various alankaras to him and various connected deity services. He became so much engrossed in the deity service. So there was one particular thing, one specific pastime. It says one of his head priest was reciting Valmiki Ramayana. At one particular point he was reciting about Lord in Dandakaranya, Lord Ramachandra facing 14,000 Rakshasas, Karadoshana. Single-handedly with one bow and one arrow he fought with 14,000 Rakshasas. When he heard that specific shloka, it says, Chaturdasha Sahasrani Rakshasam Bhima Karmanam Echaksha Rama Dharmatma Katam Yuddham Bhavishyati. Lord Ramachandra was ready to fight with his 14,000 Rakshasas. So as soon as he heard that, he became so much inspired by the Lord, he immediately called all his army generals and he himself became prepared, ready to march towards Dandakaranya. The ministers were all thinking how to communicate to the king that this pastime happened so many years back. Lord Ramachandra is already finished, but he was thinking like Ramayana is happening right now. He is thinking Lord Ramachandra is alone and these demons are thinking that there is nobody to support Ramachandra. I am there to support Ramachandra. Let me go with my entire army and let them defeat along with I'll be support to Lord Ramachandra. Now ministers were thinking how to communicate to him, how to convince him. So slowly they made a plan. They made one set of army, a small group to go further, and they made them come back on the way. And the army communicated, my dear Lord, you need not go. Lord Ramachandra has already killed the army personally. We need not go there. Lord Ramachandra is safe and secure. Nothing happened to him. Then Kulashekara became pacified. He became happy. Okay, my Lord is able to handle the situation. So when the ministers now understood, there are specific topics in Valmiki Ramayana which will bring him into ecstasy. So better stop speaking about that subject itself, where he might become inspired. So the person who was used to recite, one day he became sick. So he could not come. So he had sent his servant who doesn't know which to recite and what not to recite. So now when he came, this boy came, he did not know. He started taking up the topic where Lord Ramachandra is fighting with Ravana. So Ravana is giving full fight and full opponents to Lord Ramachandra, and Ramachandra was also, that fight was going on so tough. Then Lord Ramachandra, Kulashekara became so inspired. Who is the dirty Ravana? Who came to kill my Lord? I'll go kill him, put his entire dynasty to pieces, and I will save Mother Sita and I will hand over her to Lord Ramachandra. So he started walking towards the ocean and he jumped into the river also, that ocean also, without waiting for his army. This time no army general is not required. I myself will go and defeat that Ravana. He started swimming towards Lanka. So Lord became so much happy by this performance. Lord Ramachandra personally appeared to him and brought him to the shore and walked him till he came to his palace, which was not visible to anyone. Only for him he was visible. He said, don't worry, I have already killed Ravana, I brought Sita with me, nothing to worry, and the situation is under control. So such was his dedication, such was his commitment to the Lord. So, in the meantime, the ministers were thinking the king is becoming too much into this devotional perspective. Unless we bring him to the external consciousness, he is not ruling the kingdom, he is not giving attention to the kingdom's activities and all. So, they thought these Vaishnavas who are coming and reciting these various scriptures and all are brainwashing our king. So, we should make our king negative towards these Vaishnavas. Then only he will come out of that attachment towards devotion and he will become a normal man. So they made a master plan. They brought some Vaishnavas and while the king was serving all these Vaishnavas and while they were reciting all these things and all, some of the ministers went and stole the deity jewelry and hid them in one of the Vaishnavas' bags. So when the message, and they made a message that the jewelry of the deity was lost. So when the message was heard by Kulashekara, the Kulashekara called all the ministers and said, what happened? Please find who had stolen the jewelry. So then the minister said, nobody has come to your palace, sir, except these Vaishnavas, nobody has come closer. We doubt that some of these Vaishnavas have stolen this jewelry. Then Kulashekara became very angry. He said, you are blaming such a persons that I think them as pure devotees of the Lord, representatives of the Lord, and you are saying they have gone for these material perspectives of stealing all these things and all. They exhibit such low qualities. Do you expect? So he immediately called one pot with a cobra without removing his poison fangs. And he said, if you say that they are stolen and if they have actually stolen, this cobra will bite me. But if they have not stolen, this cobra will not touch me. And he put his hand into that pot where that live cobra was there. After some time also that cobra did not attack and it was silent. Then he removed his hand and said, yes, see, the cobra did not attack me. Means there is something wrong. You are blaming these Vaishnavas very wrongly. Then that minister who had planned, he came forward, begged, fell down at the feet of Kulashekara and prayed forgiveness. And he said, my dear Lord, please forgive me. We thought unless you come out of this devotional perspective, you are not giving attention to the kingdom's duties and all. That's why we had conspired this thing, so that we could blame these Vaishnavas and make you repellent to these Vaishnavas and you focus upon this. So from that day, Kulashekara became very much averse to this kingdom, all these ministers. He thought people with such a negative mentality, I cannot stay with them. He was always thinking of how to renounce the kingdom. In the meantime, his son, he had trained him. So he handed over his kingdom to the son. So he and his daughter went away to Sri Ranganatha, and they started serving the Lord there personally. So he got his daughter married to Ranganatha also, and very soon he also, at the age of 65, he kept his body and went back home, back to Godhead. He stayed for 67 years. So he was so very much connected with Krishna and Ramachandra. So by his devotion, he had compiled one Vedic scripture called as Mukunda Mala Stotra, in which he has given 40 verses majorly about the glorification of Lord Krishna. Generally it is said, what is so specialty about these 40 verses? In Ayurveda, if somebody has a disease, they go to a treatment process for a mandala, 40 days, by which after 40 days you become pure, clean, and you become free from disease. Similarly, Kulashekara Alvar says, every day one verse for 40 days, if you read this verse and imbibe them in your consciousness, we become free from all this material contamination and we become pure for spiritual perspective, where we can engage in unalloyed devotional service. He says this is a mandala diksha, to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. So, some 3 of the verses where he communicates about, his mood and understanding, we will try to enumerate here. He says, he glorifies the holy name. He says, Shatru Chedaika Mantram. This Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the one which is the destroyer of the enemies. Shatru Chedaika Mantram. Sakalam Upanishad Vakya Sampyuja Mantram. Every word of Upanishads and Vedas glorify this mantram. Samsara Uchcheda Mantram. The mantra to give deliverance from this cycle of birth and death. Samsara Uchcheda Mantram. Samuchita Tamasa Sangha Niryana Mantram. The mantra which drives away all the darkness of ignorance. Sarva Aishwarya Aika Mantram. This mantra which is the attaining for infinite opulence. Vyasana Bhujaga Sandasta Santrana Mantram. The mantra for curing those bitten by the poisonous snake of worldly distress. Jihve Sri Krishna Mantram. Oh my dear tongue, always chant this mantra of Lord Sri Krishna. Japa Japa Satatam. When you have to chant, chant always Satatam. Constantly keep chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. Janma Safalya Mantram, where by chanting your life becomes auspicious. Janma Safalya Mantram, your life becomes successful in this world. Then further he says, Vyamoha Prashamaushadam. So he says, it is the perfect medicine for curing the disease of bewilderment. Vyamoha Prashama Aushadam. And it is Muni Mano Vritti Pravrutti Aushadam. For inspiring the sages to engage their minds in meditation. Daityendra Arti Karaushadam. It is alone the medicine for tormenting the mighty Daitya demons. Tribhuvane Sanjeevana Ekabaushadam. This mantra is like Sanjeevani in the entire three worlds. Bhaktya Atyanta Hita Aushadam. For bestowing unlimited blessings on the Supreme Lord's devotees. Bhavabhaya Pradvamshayaneka Aushadam. Only medicine that can destroy one sphere of material existence. And Shreya Prapti Kara Aushadam. And lead one to the attainment of supreme good. It is Piba Manaha. Oh my dear mind, drink this mantra. Sri Krishna Divya Aushadam, which is the transcendental medicine of Lord Sri Krishna's divine glories. Then, finally, Prabhupada quoted this shloka many times in his lectures. He says, Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Panjarantam Advayume Vishata Manasa Raja Hamsaha Prana Prayana Samaye Kapapata Pitter Kantavaroda Makaro Shravanam Kutaste. He says, Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Panjarantam. Krishna Tvadiya at the Lord's lotus feet, Krishna Tvadiya Pada at his Lord's lotus feet, Pankaja Panjarantam, which is like a lotus. It is like a Panjara. Panjara means cage. Advayame Vishatu Manasa Raja Hamsaha. Let my mind be at the lotus feet of in the network of the lotus of the Lord's lotus feet. My mind be locked up into the Lord's lotus feet, into that network. Manasa Raja Hamsaha. The royal swan of my mind be always be at the Lord's lotus feet. Prana Prayana Samaye, when the body is about to quit, when the life is about to quit from this body. Kapavata Pittai, when the body is suffocated with bile, mucus and Kapavata Pittai, air, bile, mucus. Kanta Avarodam, when the throat becomes choked up, when I will not be able to recite this mantra. Smaranam Kutaste, when I will be able to remember you. So, right now, when I am able to remember you, you take me to your spiritual world. When I become old, when my body does not support you, it becomes very difficult for me to remember you at that time. Right now, when I am young, energetic, when I can remember you, at this point, please take me away, he says in that perspective. So, this is like the highest form of devotion, what he had exhibited. So, they are like an examples for all of us, how one has to engage in devotional service. How one will be tested in the process of devotional service and how one has to be studied in the process. So this is what pure devotees teach us by their life as an example, so that we become strong in the process and we become dedicated to Guru and Krishna. Then we get the mercy of the Lord, by which one day we'll go back home, back to Godhead. I'll stop here. Any questions or doubts?
The first question is, Prabhu, that you have told that a thief is also has this desire of stealing by the Lord, and the householder also has the desire by the Lord to protect. The desire of the soul and the desire of the Lord, both are different, na Prabhu? So the thief is getting the desire is soul's desire to steal, but not the Lord is infatuating him that you go and steal. Am I correct, Prabhu?
No, here when the thief desired, Lord gives him direction where to steal.
Yeah, that is okay.
So that's what I said. Lord is instructing him, so and so house jewelry is there, you go and steal. He had an intrinsic desire and Lord is giving him direction where to steal. And Lord, as a dutiful person, he is giving instruction to that householder also, be careful, thief might come.
Yeah,
so according to his intrinsic desire, Lord reciprocates only.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, second question is, like from the devotees who are at exalted position, like Kul Sheikh Alwar or Srila Prabhupada, or Brahmanya Tirtha or any other devotees who are at exalted position, if they exhibit such emotions which can be copied and made a proxy, so that people become like Sahajiyas. So if they exhibit, because it is told by Supreme Lord Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, whatever the highest class will exhibit.
Great men perform, common men will follow.
Yes, Prabhu. So now if they will perform such acts where they become so much emotional and they do all acts, so this comes into Sahajiya form. Whereas controversy to that, Kulshekar Alwar has written that stotra, Mukundamala stotra, and it is beautifully that pure devotion for the Lord is also glorified there. So these two contradictory forms are there in this situation, where someone can follow one part and can become a devotee, whereas another person can follow and then he can become a proxy devotee. When in Srila Prabhupada's case, Prabhupada told not to exhibit these kind of, and Prabhupada never exhibited apart from one or two small incidents. So how to understand this, Prabhu, the two different acts by the pure devotees?
So pure devotees are always acting in one platform only. For us, there are two words, it is said, Anukarana, Anusarana. So Anusarana means following in their footsteps. Anukarana means imitating them. We cannot imitate the activities of the pure devotees. We have to follow in the footsteps of pure devotees. So, see, unless you come to the platform of real devotional service, ecstasy doesn't come within our body. So, we may aspire to come to the stage of ecstatic situation. But if it is artificially we are trying to do, we are spoiling our spiritual life. Sahajiya platform is not a way thing that it is recommended in Shastras. It is like a contamination. If you read Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he blasphemes the Sahajiya perspectives, he is not recommending that perspective at all. So let us, like fruit has to be ripened naturally. Artificially you try to ripe, color you will get, sweetness you will not get. Like mango, which is ripened to the tree, which gets maximum sunlight. That gives natural sweetness, highest sweetness. You artificially try to ripe it, it will not ripe, you will not get that sweetness. So you can easily identify which is natural fruit and which is artificially ripened. So imitation for us is always dangerous. Like Prabhupada always gives example, you cannot imitate Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva drank poison. You drink a drop, what will happen to us? Well, next moment we are done. So Lord Shiva has performed activities, he is setting an example. But being a follower of Lord Shiva, will we do that? We only follow what Lord Krishna or Lord Shiva, what they set as example. His devotion to Lord Ramachandra is so great. Like that Vishnu Sahasranama, in that first verse which says at the end, Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Mano Rame, that verse is spoken by Lord Shiva only. To Parvati Devi he says. Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. This 1000 names chanting of Vishnu is equivalent to 3 times chanting of Lord Ramachandra. Because he is so much attached to the Lord, he is giving us an example how to serve the Lord in devotional perspective. Like Prabhupada also gives one example, sometimes some devotees hearing about Haridas Thakura, they went to a field, they sat in the field and 24 hours they want to imitate by chanting. Third day they vanished from the place itself. Prabhupada's time itself happened in Mayapur. Third day, the devotee was no more visible in Mayapur. So we cannot artificially imitate. It has to come naturally within us. Swayambhu hi spurat yadaha. That bhakti is such a way that naturally it awakens within us. Or else we becomes apasampardaya. Asara, it says, no? We don't get that energy from the spiritual perspectives. We become faded off very faster. For few days we may show that exhibition of all these things, but people will get to know who is genuine and who is fake. Okay. Then Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanand.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణ వాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 91